Upbeat, engaging intro music fades in and then out. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered how the United States, one of the world's most influential nations, came to be? It's a story packed with rebellion, bold ideas, and a fight for freedom. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible journey of how the USA was founded. Grab your popcorn because this is a historical saga you won't want to miss. Our story begins way back in the 1500s. Imagine vast, uncharted lands in North America. European powers, mainly Spain and England, saw a golden opportunity. They began establishing settlements, and over time, these small outposts grew into 13 thriving British colonies along the Atlantic coast. Life was new, it was challenging, but it was also filled with the promise of a fresh start. These colonists built towns, farmed the land, and created unique societies, a world away from their European homelands. For a while, things were relatively stable. The colonies were part of the British Empire, and there was a sense of shared identity. But as the colonies matured, they developed their own economies, their own ways of life, and most importantly, their own ideas about how they should be governed. This is where the friction begins. Britain, an ocean away, started imposing new rules and, most controversially, new taxes. You've probably heard the famous phrase, "No taxation without representation." This wasn't just a catchy slogan, it was the heart of the problem. Colonists felt it was deeply unfair to be taxed by a government where they had no elected voice. Tensions simmered and then boiled over. Events like the Boston Tea Party weren't just about tea. They were powerful acts of defiance against British control. The atmosphere grew more and more hostile, and skirmishes eventually erupted into a full-blown conflict. In 1775, the American Revolutionary War began. This was no small rebellion. It was a David versus Goliath fight, with the makeshift colonial armies taking on the might of the British Empire. In the midst of this war, a pivotal moment arrived. On July 4, 1776, a group of colonial leaders made a world-changing decision. They signed the Declaration of Independence. This document was more than just a breakup letter with Great Britain. It was a radical statement of ideals. It declared that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. With these words, the United States of America was officially born, at least on paper. Now, they had to win the war to make it a reality. The war was long and grueling, lasting for 8 grueling years. But against all odds, with strategic leadership from figures like George Washington and crucial help from allies like France, the colonial forces persevered. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Britain formally recognized the United States as an independent nation. The war was over. The 13 colonies were finally free. But winning independence was only half the battle. Now came the even harder part, building a country from scratch. What kind of government should this new nation have? The initial attempt, called the Articles of Confederation, proved too weak. So, in 1787, delegates from the states gathered in Philadelphia for what we now call the Constitutional Convention. Their goal was to create a new, stronger framework for the government. After months of intense debate and compromise, they produced an extraordinary document, the U.S. Constitution. It laid out a revolutionary system of a federal government with 3 distinct branches, legislative, executive, and judicial, and a system of checks and balances to prevent any one part from becoming too powerful. But many people were still wary of a strong central government. They worried it could trample on their individual freedoms, just as the British had. To address these fears, a set of guarantees was promised. In 1789, James Madison introduced 10 amendments to the Constitution. We know them today as the Bill of Rights. These amendments protect fundamental liberties like freedom of speech, religion, and the press, ensuring the government's power would have clear limits. With the Constitution ratified and the Bill of Rights in place, the final piece of the puzzle was leadership. In 1789, the nation unanimously elected its wartime hero, George Washington, as the very first president of the United States. His inauguration marked the official launch of the new government, turning the vision of the Founding Fathers into a functioning reality. And that, in a nutshell, is the epic story of how the United States was founded, from scattered colonies to a revolutionary war for independence, and finally to the creation of a new constitution and government built on the ideals of liberty and self-governance. It's a complex and fascinating piece of history that continues to shape the world we live in today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories that made our world. Let me know in the comments what piece of history you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.